Welcome, friends. So let's begin with the invocation of Piro Murshid Inayat Khan. Towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance. So first I'm going to do just a little brief introduction of a description of what Ziraat is, in case this is really new to any of you, and then we'll delve more into the practices and whatnot. So Ziraat has taken many forms through this lineage of Inayat Khan. It's said that he started this activity or this ray towards the end of his life, and there's some debate as to whether or not the practices and writings and ceremonies are his, or maybe a collaboration with one of his closest murids, Murshida Green. But either way, it kind of allows for kind of some variations on how we practice it, but really at the core of this ray and this activity is just our connection with nature, our connection with the sacredness of life, and how that can be an influence and inspiration for how we cultivate our own hearts, cultivate our lives, purify our minds. A lot of it is using the symbolism of agriculture. It's said that Ziraat means agriculture in Arabic, or there's some thought that maybe it started with Zoroastrian religion, and then it was a word for seed. But, they're all obviously very related to how we connect with nature. So there was a ceremony, or a Ziraat Lodge ceremony, that was created, again, maybe by Inayat Khan, maybe by his murids, but so we're going to base some of our practice this morning on that ceremony, and then we'll also kind of have some free form stuff that I just created or feel would be important for connecting with nature. So first I just want to show you the altar. Inayat Khan, of course, very much had a thing for the gold, yellow. So the gold cloth is over the altar, and then we have the 4 elements represented. So I have some stones that I keep around with me a lot that are representing earth, obviously. And there's a little glass of water here, which is some water from the river that's right by where I walk every day. So it's a special connection to water for me. Then we have the fire of the candle burning back there, and then feathers representing air, and then incense burning in the middle. That could represent ether. So yeah, we'll have an altar for each of our classes to help us attune to those elements. And then we'll begin the ceremony with attuning to the elements. It's called the salutation to the elements. And I'm going to put this in the chat window so you can see what we're saying, and you can say it along with me if you'd like. So there's different movements. Traditionally, they say to stand for this. You can certainly stand if you wish, but not required. I'm not going to stand. I feel like it'll just be easier with Zoom to do the movements seated. So I'll just lead us through this, and feel free to join me. And like I said, the words are in the chat window if that's helpful for you. Oh, all productive earth, we humbly offer our love and respect to you. And we'll take a few breaths of earth, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Feeling our connection with the earth, with the ground, with our bones. For water, oh, all purifying water, we willingly offer our love and respect to you. And we'll take a few breaths of water, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, connecting with that element of water, the rain, the rivers, the blood coursing through our bodies, all the fluids and sense of water around us. And to fire, oh, all-consuming fire, we wholeheartedly offer our love and respect to you. And a few breaths of fire, breathing in through the mouth and breathing out through the nose. And for air, oh, all-pervading air, we gladly offer our love and respect to you. And a few breaths of air, breathing in through the mouth, breathing out through the mouth. For ether, O ether, essence of all, we passively offer our love and respect to thee. And this breath is just a refined, simple, natural breath, offering our gratitude for the source of all these elements that are within us and all around us. And to further attune us and kind of connect ourselves with this source of all of the elements that are within us, all around us, I'd like to invite you to join me in this song. Oh wait, that's not actually what I meant to do. We're doing a drum. I'm gonna do the heartbeats. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me. Okay, so just a little bit about the terminology that's used in Ziraat. As I mentioned, it's based on agriculture, is meant to be an esoteric school that really using these terms of gardening and farming as a way of how we cultivate the heart. So I think with each of our classes that's happening each Sunday, or not each Sunday, I'm sorry, each Sunday, first Sunday of the month, we will explore different aspects of these terms and have some readings from Inayat Khan, just to explore a little bit more of maybe some of his original intention. But we'll also spend a lot of the class focusing on what's happening in nature around us right now, and how that can be a teacher for us. So some of the terms with sovereign or owner of the farm is basically referring to the one and only being, as God or creator, and really can think of that as the caretaker of the planet and of our souls. So that's one of the terms that's often used in this ray. And then there's the great farmer, and that refers to Inayat Khan. And then there's the most experienced farmer, which is generally the peer of the Sufi order. And then there's the experienced farmer, and that's someone who can initiate others into Ziraat. So this was designed as a ray that people can be initiated into. And of course, it's also a ray that anyone can practice Ziraat. And I think probably many of you here on this Zoom have already been practicing Ziraat for most of your lives. So it's not obviously necessary to be initiated into this order, but if it is, something that you want to delve deeper into, then there is that option, that process. So basically, the people, we are all the farmers, we're all the workers, we're the caretakers of the land, the soil. As we care for the earth and read the sacred manuscript of nature, we cultivate our hearts and our inner lives, bringing more, planting those seeds of love and harmony and beauty, preparing us for our outer work of bringing more healing and love to the world and the planet, and really developing a relationship with the nature around us. And I know that's different for each of us in different parts of the country and perhaps of the world if you're watching this video later. And there's 6 forms of work, or 6 watchwords that they use, or that was introduced in this ray. So there's the plowing, so that we need to till the soil and see, what's in that soil, that ground, that earth that we're beginning with in our hearts. And then the harrowing, and the watchword for that is courage. So harrowing is not a word that people probably hear often. I wasn't sure what it was. Had to kind of delve deeper into that, but I guess if you're a farmer, maybe it's more familiar. But harrowing is where after you've plowed up the soil, you really go through with another machine that has these little spikes that really make the soil perfect and ready for the seed. And then there's the sowing, and that watchword is hope. And then there's reaping, and that watchword is joy. So obviously as we reap what we've been sowing, there's lots of joy. And then there's threshing, which is strength, and then garnering of thanksgiving. So those are the different, parts of Ziraat that we can focus on. And really, again, like I said, it's really focusing on that inner life of courage, hope, joy. How do we find strength? And of course, there's always gratitude. That is the ultimate result of all of this work that we're doing in our inner lives. So as I said, the core essence of this ray is really our connection with nature. And one of the 10 Sufi thoughts of Inayat Khan, the third one, is one that I think it's always everyone's favorite. I see smiles a lot when people hear this Sufi thought. It's an easy one to accept, at least for me. I think probably for a lot of you. There is one holy book, the sacred manuscript of nature, the only scripture that can enlighten the reader. So I'm going to read a little bit from this Ziraat reader, and this was compiled by Vakil Forrest Schomer many years ago, and it's just lots of good articles and information about this ray, and it is available online. If anyone wants more of that, I can send it to you. Feel free to reach out. But I'm going to read from Religious Gothica's number 57 on the Sacred Manuscript of Nature by Inayat Khan. The Sufi, when the eye of his soul is opened and his sight is keen, reads in the manuscript of nature the divine law, which has been read from the same source and taught by the teachers of humanity to their followers. Though language does not suffice to express the inner truth, yet what little of it could be expressed in words has been inscribed by the pen and handed down to posterity from time to time as a sacred book. Men have fought over and disputed over the authenticity of these books, and would not accept any other book of similar character, and clinging thus to the book and losing the sense of it, have formed diverse sects. The Sufi has in all ages respected all such books, and has traced in the Vedanta, Zendavesta, Kabbalah, Bible, Quran, and all other sacred scriptures the same truth which he reads in the incorruptible manuscript of nature, the only holy book, the perfect and living model that teaches the inner law of life. All scriptures before nature's manuscript are as little pools of water before the ocean. To the eye of the seer, every leaf of the tree is a page of the holy book that contains divine revelation, and he has inspired every moment of his life by reading and understanding the holy script of nature. I'll read that last paragraph again. All scriptures before nature's manuscript are as little pools of water before the ocean. To the eye of the seer, every leaf of the tree is a page of the holy book that contains divine revelation, and he or she has inspired every moment of their lives by reading and understanding the holy script of nature. I love that. So now I just want to turn our attention towards what's going on in nature right now. And as you know, we're really in the deepest, darkest time of the year. I know that a few weeks ago we did celebrate the winter solstice, which is celebrating the return of the light. The days are starting to grow longer, but as you may have noticed, it doesn't necessarily feel that way. At least it doesn't for me. Like, it's really, if you look at how long the day was on winter solstice and how long the day was today, it was about 5 minutes longer. So it's a very slow growing of the light right now. It starts to grow longer and faster as we go in through the year. But right now, it's just so still and quiet, and really, I feel like that nature is still so still. Like, even the seeds underneath the ground, yes, we know they're there. We know they're going to come back. But I'm not sure they're even stirring yet. I mean, they're really resting. And it feels like such a great invitation to rest right now and listen to what the silence and the stillness has to teach us. I know that in January, when we're like, okay, we're in a new year and I'm going to make all these resolutions and go to the gym every day and, whatever it is. And there is that sense of the newness of a year that inspires perhaps making new goals and desires and intentions. And I certainly encourage that if that's, feels like a good energy for you. But sometimes I feel like we in our society maybe push ourselves a little too much in that direction when that's really not what nature is telling us. Like, according to the pagan calendar, there's the winter solstice is the new year, but it's there's no January 1st. Like, our next pagan holiday is in February, the beginning of February, for Imbolg and the celebration of Bridget, and that's when we start to feel more of that pregnancy and that seed stirring. But right now, I think it's really still a time of quiet and stillness. And I love the snowy mornings when it's just so quiet. Like, it's just a certain sense of the sound or lack of sound when you go out into that fresh snow, which I'm personally missing right now because we haven't had really much snow here in Colorado for a month at least. And I know not everyone lives in places where it snows, but if you're living in the northern hemisphere, there's still that sense, that energy of winter and cold and darkness. And it doesn't have to be a scary or negative thing. It's really a time that invites us to really quiet down and to be still and to listen. So I encourage you for this time, for this month, to really take time to be still, to listen to the inner voice. What is it saying? What can we learn? Just watch the snow fall, or sit inside and watch the fire crackle. And, it's a great invitation and time to be quiet. I think that it's actually encouraged and good if we can spend some stillness and quiet time every day throughout the year. But maybe just a little more now, and not to push ourselves too much, even though society is telling us an entirely different message, I feel like. So I would like to read a couple of passages for you from Inayat Khan about repose and stillness and silence, and really how important it is for our inner lives to cultivate that sense of listening to the spirit of guidance and just finding balance in our lives. So this is from volume 7, The Divinity of the Human Soul. Much as action is needed in life, repose is just as necessary. And sometimes repose is even more necessary than action. All such complaints, such as nervous illness and disorders of the mind, come from lack of repose. This realm of life, which is explored by meditation, is the world of repose. And as one can say that by a certain kind of work, one has gathered this or that experience, or has a certain success, or has added a particular aspect to one's knowledge, so one can also say that by this method of repose, one has acquired a certain strength, illumination, and peace. And when we go a little further, we will find that it is the concept of repose which the wise turn into a method, considering it most sacred. For by this process, they attain to something much more valuable than anything our actions can bring us. Repose is what the wise turn into a method, considering it most sacred. For by this process, they attain to something much more valuable than anything that actions can bring us. Here's a little more about repose from volume 10, Sufi Mysticism. The chapter is called Repose. So, when the lips are closed, then the heart begins to speak. When the heart is silent, then the soul blazes up, bursting into flame, and this illuminates the whole of life. It is this idea which demonstrates to the mystic the great importance of silence, and this silence is gained by repose. Most people do not know what repose means because it is something they feel they need when they are tired. If they were not tired, they would never see the necessity for it. Repose has many aspects. It is one kind of repose when a person retires from the activity of everyday life and finds himself alone in his room. He draws a breath of thankfulness as he feels after all his interesting or tiresome experiences of the day. At last, I am by myself. It expresses the certainty that there is nothing to distract his mind and nothing which demands his action. At that moment, his soul has a glimpse of relief, the pleasure of which is inexpressible. However, the intoxication of life, from which every man suffers, is such that he cannot fully appreciate that moment of relief that everyone expects when it is time to retire after the activities of his daily life, whether he be rich or poor, tired or not. Does this not teach us that there is a great mystery in repose, a mystery which people are very often ignorant? Besides, we always find that a thoughtful person has repose by nature, and one who has repose is naturally thoughtful. It is repose which makes one more thoughtful, and it is continual action which takes away thoughtfulness, even from a sensible person. think I'm getting the idea of how important silence and repose is. I hope you are too. All right, I have one more reading that kind of brings us back into nature. So this is from volume 7, called In an Eastern Rose Garden, on the Silent Life. Perhaps many of us have experienced at some time or other in our own home or in a church, a temple, or other religious place, how there is a kind of silence as we sit there. Compared with a bazaar, a market, or a factory, there is no activity. If, under such circumstances, we noticed the condition of our own self, of our mind, of our thoughts, of our body, and have felt any comfort, have we then asked ourselves why we felt such comfort and rest? Then take another experience. We may be a few moments or a few hours in the woods, away and apart from everybody. It may seem as if even the trees and the leaves are keeping silence. The feelings that we have at such time cannot be expressed in words. These feelings cannot be called pleasure because what we are accustomed to in pleasure or in joy is not the same. We can only say that peculiar pleasure or that peculiar joy. There is no name for it, and yet it is a true experience of the soul. What was in the wilderness that gave that peace and joy? What was it that came to us in the forest, the solitude? In either case, it was nothing else but the depth of our own life, which is silent, like the depths of the great sea, so silent and still. It is the surface of the sea that makes waves and roaring breakers, so the depth is silent, and so the depth of our own being is silent also. So, I think next we'll do a song, another song of Be Still. And again, feel free to join me in this. And I saw some of you grabbing drums and tambourines, whatever. Feel free to join me. I love that in whatever way you wish. Just attuning to that stillness that is the divine. That's where we hear the divine. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, and know. Be still and know that I am God. still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, and And while we're in this place of stillness and quiet, I want to offer a nature meditation, which is a practice of fikr, which is a practice just on the breath, where you're breathing in a mantra and breathing out a mantra. So I put in the chat window what we can be putting on the breath, and I'll say it out loud a few times, and then we'll just be quiet and let you sit with this meditation for a little bit. So breathing in, my heart is tuned to the quietness, and breathing out, that the stillness of nature inspires. Again, breathing in, my heart is tuned to the quietness, and breathing out, that the stillness of nature inspires. Breathing in, my heart is tuned to the quietness. Breathing out that the stillness of nature inspires. Breathing in, my heart is tuned to the quietness. Breathing out that the stillness of nature inspires. And I put in the chat window another concentration, fikr breathing practice. Breathing in, O sublime nature, and breathing out, in thy stillness, let my heart rest. Breathing in, O sublime nature, and breathing out, in thy stillness, let my heart rest. Breathing in, O sublime nature. Breathing out, in thy stillness, let my heart rest. Breathing in, O sublime nature. Breathing out, in thy stillness, let my heart rest. Amen. So I'm going to pause the recording here in just a moment, and I want to be able to open it up to any sharing that you may have, and maybe we're all in so much stillness. Not ready to speak, but I would love to hear if there's any intentions that you may have for how you might bring more stillness, quiet space in your life where you can really not just settle into your room, be like, okay, yeah, I'm tired now, it's time to repose, but to really sink into that special place of silence and listening to the sacred within. So Pause. Okay, so thank you, friends. And I'd just like to encourage you to just keep this focus for the month. And maybe if you're walking outdoors or sitting by the fire or whatever, out there looking at birds, to remember some of these practices if you wish, maybe even some of the songs, or just breathing in, "Oh sublime nature, in thy stillness let my heart rest." So I also want to let you know that if you want a daily dose of the nature that I'm experiencing out on my walks around the Riverbend Ponds here in Fort Collins, I do post a daily picture with some sort of poetry or practice, like some of these nature meditations, like what we did today. So, and I encourage you, kind of the point of this is to maybe inspire you to have your place in nature that you visit on a regular basis and really develop a relationship with that. And so, yeah, that's Ziraat. Anyway, I'm not going to do the whole Facebook page, but you can contact me if you haven't found it yet. I think most of you on here have found it. So if you do the social media thing, which is fine if you don't. So, all right, let's close with our salutation to the elements, which is exactly how we began. The instructions are to do this silently on the breath, but I'm going to say them out loud in case you're not looking at the chat window and just want to breathe it along silently with me. So, oh, all productive earth, we humbly offer our love and respect to you. Oh, all purifying water, we willingly offer our love and respect to you. Oh, all-consuming fire, we wholeheartedly offer our love and respect to you. Oh, all-pervading air, we gladly offer our love and respect to you. O ether, essence of all, we passively offer our love and respect to you. And we'll close with the closing prayer, Khatum, which is in the chat window. O thou who art the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the Lord of heaven and earth, open our hearts that we may hear thy voice, which constantly cometh from within. Disclose to us thy divine light, which is hidden in our souls, that we may know and understand life better. Most merciful and compassionate God, give us thy great goodness. Teach us thy loving forgiveness. Raise us above the distinctions and differences which divide. Send us the peace of thy divine Spirit, and unite us all in thy perfect being. Amen.